here with World Team member Brent Metcalf here in Colorado Springs for some follow-up and evaluation from our World Championships. And with World Championships in mind, Brent, what kind of takeaways do you take from the competition in Tashkent?
I mean, it was a great competition, and it was a great experience. And I think, like we talked about, you obviously go in and I expect to win, and you don't have that, and sometimes things are out of your control, and you've got to be able to learn and build from your experience. So again, kind of sick and tired of it's a good experience, it's a good experience, it's a good experience. There comes a time where it's time to win, and it's about that time, and it's been that time, and I mean, I'm motivated, and I'll continue to be motivated, but it's a frustrating feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, it's your post a month now or whatever, so there's still a lot of frustration, but, you got to move on, and you build, and that's what I'm here doing today, is, you're going over film, going over the whole season strategy, you look at everything, and you try to improve. So,
Are there parts of your wrestling that you feel are going well right now, and others that you want to focus on or improve in?
well, I think if you look at the film that we're breaking down, there's probably a lot of things that you could point out. But
Sure.
for me, getting to the legs early and finishing, and we talked about post the World Championships. There's two positions really where I'm in on the leg and the guy scores on me. So there's your finishing. There's an area that I need to continue to get better in. So that's where I'm at.
So talk a little bit about your training situation in Iowa and how that helps you to achieve the dreams you've set for yourself.
It's a great situation for me for a lot of reasons. One, because I've got Tom and Terry there, two coaches who I have unbelievable respect for, two coaches who have raised the bar for me continuously throughout my career, and that's what I need out of a coach as far as expectations go. The room, we've obviously got a lot of bodies in there, a lot of great guys. Off topic, hopefully they can, perform a little better. Talking about our college guys than what we have over the last few years, because we do have the type of guys in that room to win national championships, and I'm fortunate that I can train with those guys. So it's about time for them to go and perform as well. So I have what I need. I've got the training partners, I've got the coaches, I've got my family, and it just comes down to me doing it in September when it matters.
So tell us about your Olympic dream and how that might fuel you about Rio, even 2 years out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that a part of your daily life?
I'm more of a day by day, just take the next thing as it comes sort of thing. But I think that there are moments when you have the whole picture in mind, and being the Olympic champion in 2016 is part of that. It is the main engine. It is if you had to write out a list of the things that you want, that's the biggest earmark, right? Is that. So when you are thinking about the sport, or when you are in a tough situation, that's always kind of what you're driving to. But I am a day-to-day guy, and I more probably think about, what I'm doing today, right now. It is making me better for Rio, right? But what I'm doing today is making me better for tomorrow. And that's kind of the way that I process things and the way that I go about my training.
Talk about the role of family in making you a better person and a better wrestler.
Family's always been a huge thing for me growing up, as far as just having, support and what do you do this for? A lot of the reason I do this is to represent my name and my family, right? So it is a big thing in my life, and I'm fortunate to have a great wife and a wonderful son back home, and their presence motivates me. It's another fuel to the fire. having a family of your own probably changes things a lot. It changes your priorities. It changes the way that your time is split up. And I've been able to make it work so that it helps me and so that it benefits me in a way that when I am at home, I am getting the most out of my rest time because of my family. And when I'm away, I'm getting the most out of my work time because of my family.
Are there things about Brent Metcalf that people in wrestling may not know? I mean, people see you on the mat, they hear you talk, they may not be around you, but, is there a piece of you that's not part of what people consider Brent Metcalf?
I think that the public is starting to come around to who Brent Metcalf's really about. You talk about this over this last year, people give me a hard time about smiling and stuff on camera, and that's really what I'm about. And I think and I've said this a lot, it depends on when you catch me, I mean, you get this image from a lot of wrestlers are this way too. You get this image of these really hard-nosed guys because you're getting them right off the match when they're adrenaline in there.
Sure.
They just take a warrior off the battlefield. He just killed 30 men, and then interview him. I
Sure.
mean, he's in kill mode, right? So the views that the public get is probably a lot different. Most wrestlers that I meet are pretty good people and pretty enjoyable people to be around. So I don't know if there's a whole lot of hidden things about me other than I'm a family guy, and I am kind of I'm probably a little more of a goofball than what most people would see.
Sure.
And if you were around our hour room, you would. I think a lot of new guys that come in are kind of like, what the heck? So I don't know.
No, that makes sense. Of course, I've seen you in certain situations that aren't off the mat, but we're usually the first ones to talk to you off the mat, right? Talk about achievements. Is there something you're most proud of so far in your career as far as your wrestling?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, again, I'm always a forward-looking guy, right? So all the things that I've done in my wrestling career, you almost forget about them, And I think I did an interview once where I said maybe one day when I'm 60 or 70, I'll be able to look back and
Sure.
have a trophy room and be proud of it, But as far as all the, people ask me, where's all your national trophies? Where's your Hodge trophy? I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you right now where those items are. Because I'm looking forward to the next thing, which happens to be Las Vegas in 2015.
Right.
Bring it even closer, the U.S. Open, the trials.
Sure.
So that's the way that I kind of process things. But I have been very fortunate to have a lot of success in my career. Collegiately, I mean, obviously internationally, there are a lot of things that I have yet to do that I aspire to do, and I have plenty of time left to do that. So.
Well, that's true, but you're a day-to-day guy, but you have time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that probably helps, I would think. Talk about people that have influenced your career and helped you the most. Are there some people, like if they said, okay, Brent, shout some people out, who that would be?
Well, I mean, you could go all the way back to Roger Bailey, my very youth coach when I first got started in the sport of wrestling. You talk about foundation there, you talk about Roy Hall, you talk about really building that foundation even stronger and better, and then Tom Brands and Terry Brands, and then probably a lot of different influences, maybe coaches that maybe you don't necessarily give them credit, but there has been a lot of great help as far as USA Wrestling goes, and we've been fortunate to have a lot of good people around that program, and we're talking about big names like the Smith and the Sanderson. The little influences by each one of those guys has been big, but I think my main is probably my core group of guys that you hear about all the time, that really molded me to the wrestler that I am, and hopefully continue to get me to where I want to be.
So, people, we talked about a little bit about the warrior and the intensity and all that people might perceive from you, but what aspects of the wrestling experience are fun for you and are rewarding? Because, again, people do see you on the mat, and, part of it may be fun and rewarding for you, but people don't quite understand that. I mean, you couldn't do this if there wasn't some of that, right?
Yeah. For me, rewarding moments, post-practice, you get done, you go through your hard workout, and think, more rewarding maybe the harder the workout is.
Right.
And then maybe 20 minutes after the practice, you're cooling down, whether you're in the shower or you're in the sauna. For me, those are rewarding moments where you can reflect back and think about the work that you did and things that you accomplished. That in itself is rewarding, right? Competitions, you go and you do well. A good example would be like the trials this year. After the trials, I jumped in my truck right from the trials and I went up to Mackinac City and went there for 2 days. That was rewarding, but it ends, So you go up there and I spent time with my family up in Mackinac City for 2 days, and it was enjoyable and it was relaxing. It was relaxing because you had the success that you wanted, and now you can kind of not even celebrate it. You can just embrace the relaxation of achieving what you wanted, and then you can relax, And then once you get back home, it's back to work again, So the enjoyable moments are probably small, but what makes them great is all the work that you put into it, and it makes them even all that better. I don't know if I could say it as good as Tom does, but Tom always, said that put the work in so that when you have what you want, you can really enjoy it, And it doesn't really make sense maybe until you get through it and you do it and you're like, oh, this is what real relaxation is. Because you can relax. I've relaxed after the World Championships, right? But it's not the same as if you win the World Championships.
Sure.
And then you go and relax, right? So
you brought it up, Las Vegas in 2015, and it's going to be on American soil.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity for friends, family, colleagues, our whole wrestling community in the United States to see us compete. Just how important it would be for you to be on that team and to win your gold medal in Las Vegas in 2015 Worlds.
I think it's big for our country, and I think that it's big for USA Wrestling to go out and put a good product out there and win a lot of medals. But for me, I'm kind of goofy in that way. Like, I come and win in Las Vegas, and that would be great because you're going to have family support. You're going to have hopefully a lot of great things, a lot of other guys winning with you. But I'm the type of guy that I want to go to freaking Moscow back in 2010, and I want to win the gold medal there. And I want to stand on top of their podium when they don't want anyone other than Russians on top of that podium. If you got to ask me where do I want to win, I want to win there, right? But we're here, we're home, and like you said, you're going to have a lot of family and a lot of support, and hopefully we'll be doing a lot of great things. So you want to be a part of that. Obviously, that's the next thing. That's the next World Championships in front of us is Las Vegas 2015. So make the team. Go there and get your gold medal.
Have you been in a setting anywhere internationally that can compare with competing at Carver Hawkeye?
Iran.
Yeah.
For sure.
How are they comparable?
Just to the noise, the crowd noise. I think the World Cup was pretty close. Even I wrestled over on Kish Island.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the tournament was called, but it was a Grand Prix.
It was in Iran, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That little island, right?
Yep. And even that, there was probably 3,000 people there at best, maybe 2,500, but it was rocking. And it was a small little place, but it was rocking. So the crowd energy is, I guess, what makes the difference, And that's where we're fortunate at the University of Iowa is we pack that place with 10 plus, up to 16,000 people. So that helps. But I've been in arenas with 10,000 people and not felt the energy. So you get the energy from passionate fans, from people who really care about the sport. And you have that at the University of Iowa, and you have that in Iran as well.
How important is goal setting to you, and do you have any you would share?
Goal setting is what it's really all about, if you don't have a goal, then what are you doing? For me, I always set it high. And I always said this in my college career, and it's different maybe now a little bit internationally, but it doesn't have to be. When I stepped on the mat, every single time, no matter who the opponent was, I wanted to tech fall and pin.
Right.
Now, is that possible? I don't know. But that's what I wanted to do. That was my mission. That was my goal to accomplish every single match. And I think with that, that mind frame, that's when you start to create distance between your opponents, right? And then then you got a lot of things building there. But that's when you're really putting a good product out there. And I can do that internationally as well. When I step out on the mat, I mean, I want a tech fall every single time. Now, pinning is kind of a funny thing because you're not necessarily using pinning holds.
Right.
But Gable would argue that you could get a tech fall pin in every single freestyle match.
Sure.
So I guess that's where I'm at with goals. I mean, set them high and set them crazy unrealistic. I mean, I know that when I talk to youth and kids in summer camps and I give them that spiel, they kind of look at me and they're like, that's not even possible. What is possible? Just intentionally only score 14 points. You know, even if it takes, pulling a guy off his back and then get what you want, and hold him and don't pin him yet and then get your 15 count and then pin him. So it is possible.
So a tech fall pin.
Tech fall pin.
Okay, and we're going to see a bunch of them this year, right?
Well, it can happen. I mean, I've done it. Not a lot, but I've tried to do it every single time.
Well, Brent, we really appreciate your time. And, obviously USA Wrestling takes great pride in what you've done, but we're also looking forward, like you say, and, 2015, 2016. It's going to come fast,
Yep.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm fired up. Excited about the future.
Outstanding. Thanks, Brent.